this is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping back. Tonight I'm going to show you how I created a design similar to this one. It'll be a little bit different because I made some changes once I did this one, but basically it's the same, similar gist. I am going to go ahead and start tonight by using a sponge to paint the background. And I've gone ahead and taped down the palette paper that I'm using. And again, I'm just using this because I'm doing these as videos for the purpose of doing a video, and I'm not actually selling them. So I'm just doing it on something that can be easily disposed of. But I'm going to go ahead and coat the background, and so that I don't waste a whole lot of time, I'm going to attempt to create this design without giving this any drying time. Typically, I probably, if I were creating this on a canvas or canvas paper, would go ahead and allow some drying time before I went ahead and painted the flowers, because the flowers obviously are created with white paint. I'm using the Wicker White and the Off-White. This background that I'm painting is aqua, which is the folk art enamels, and the turquoise. So I'm just combining the two, so there'll be a little bit of each running through, just little streaks of the turquoise in this. And then for the purpose of painting the flowers and the vines, I will be using warm white, again folk art enamel, Wicker White, which is the multi-surface, the Umber, or burnt umber I should say, which is also multi-surface, and yellow Citron, and Thicket. Both of these are the enamel paints. As far as brushes go, I will be using a variety of brushes. I just got some new Filbert brushes in, so I'll be using this brush for the petals of the flower. This is a Royal Aqualon, a number 12 flat brush. Got these on, I believe, Amazon. And then the Princeton number 4 round brush. And then this is another Filbert 2 Royal Aqualon, which is a number 8. And then going to my fine liner, which is actually a Westonia, and it's for fingernail painting. Alright, so again, as I mentioned, what I typically would do if I were going to be selling this is I would give this some drying time if I go ahead and paint my canvas. But for the purpose of doing the videos, I'm basically just loading my brush with a lot of paint, the white folk art enamels, and the Wicker White, excuse me, and the warm white. For the creation of the petals for my design, I'm just basically going to tap, kind of turn it a little bit, and this is going to be more of a loose painting, as you say, not a painting that is really focusing on how we're brush stroking. It's just going to be laying the paint in. And I probably will go back over these a little bit just to kind of fill them in some. And then what I'm using for the smaller petals that come in at the bottom, I'm just turning the brush to the side and kind of pulling those in like that. And like I said, if you don't want the streaks in there, it's basically having to do with the colors that I'm using and the fact that I'm not giving drying time to the background. But I'm going to go ahead and continue here. And like I said, I'm just basically letting the Filbert brush do the work. Just tapping in those. Again, just doing a loose looking flower. If I want to touch them up a little bit so that they're not showing the green through, you can do that too. You don't have to. You can let that work for you as part of the design, which is fine with me. See how nicely, I mean, it's just basically I'm tapping, and then pulling and turning it a little bit. Like I said, if I weren't so rushed to try to get another video on, I would take more time with this, but I think you're getting the gist of it. At least I hope so. Maybe I'm counting on that too much, I don't know. And this also would be different too if I weren't just using white. And if I were actually using another color with this besides the warm white, would fill it up more. I'm just trying to fill up a little bit of the screen. There we go. And I'm going to basically do the same thing over here. I really like these brushes. You know, and you can leave them, actually have them come with a little bit more space and not be really completely connected. But I kind of like to try to connect them. I like the way they look like that. Alright. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you like my painting, please make sure that you do so. Right now I'm concentrating on brush strokes, doing different brushes. Tonight will be the Filbert Brush. And then I've done flat brush, round brushes, which is, this one actually has a little bit of the round brush in it too. And then I'm just going to do some little single petals. And again, it's a little bit different than my original design, but that's fine. So I've decided to do something a little different with it in general. So I'm going to make the stem more of a tree-like, so I'm going to actually use brown and bring it up in here. This was another thing too, I'm finding that I don't know what the deal is with this not actually, I'm used to it like blending together better, so I don't know what's happening. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like my paint is separating or something tonight. And I really haven't experienced that, so I'm not sure why that's happening tonight. I thought this was a fun little easy pattern. To create. If you like my video, make sure that you share it. If you subscribe to my channel, make sure that you click on the bell so that you get notifications when I post a new video. I do a lot of glass painting. I'm actually starting to get into rock painting, so I might be doing some videos with that. And I've always wanted to paint on rocks, and I've done some rock painting, but I never really kept doing it. I just kind of did it and just let it go. And I'm doing some painting for a friend of mine who's sick, so I've kind of gotten interested in doing it again. And then I had discovered that there are some groups out there where they actually try to bring happiness to people just by randomly placing painted rocks in various places throughout the city. And I guess, you know, there's a big group of people that do this. So I thought, you know, well, that'd be kind of a fun little hobby. You know, not necessarily, you know, I could still sell rocks, but I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. So I'm kind of thinking about it, you know, joined a few groups in hopes of being able to learn more and get some more inspiration from people. But if anybody knows me, I've always, for many years, liked to paint. So this is kind of something that's giving me some new inspiration, which I could use this part of my life. So I might be sharing that a little bit with you all. So I'm just, you know, as far as this part of it goes, put in as much as you want or as little. Doesn't have to be, you know, a great amount of vining or, you know, it just doesn't. It's just kind of whatever you like. I'm going to go ahead and just tap in a center for these using the brown and the burnt umber, I should say, and my number 4 flat brush. I was trying to use a scruffy brush for it, and I don't know, like I was hit or miss with it. I could not actually get it to look the way I really wanted it to look. So I'm thinking, I'm not going to do that. But just tap it in. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just remember this is more of a loose painting and not a precise painting. Or strict brush strokes, I should say. And I'm just going to move in a little bit down here. Just kind of make it a happy flower. Oops. They pull a lot of blue from the background. Like I said, I definitely would recommend drawing your background before doing it, because I'm feeling like too much of the, for my taste, too much of the background is coming through. You could pull even in some from the flower itself if there's excess paint there. And if you feel like you want to neaten these up a little bit, you can. Go back in. Just bringing in that blue again. Or green, whatever color you think it is. Greenish blue. Okay, so I'm going to leave those alone. And then I'm going to come in here with some white and just kind of put in some little touches here. These little petals. Now I'm just using the side of the smaller filbert. And you can, you know, put in as many or as little. Kind of like a filler flower maybe, even. I think they're cute. Definitely add some interest. Let it clear down in there. And then actually I'm going to come back, a little blue in there, of course. I'm going to come back and just kind of go through and just maybe put some little green in here. It doesn't have to be a lot. I think it just gives it some more interest by adding a little bit of the green. And this is the Citron green. You can do every one, or if you just want to do some of them, that's fine. Again, I'm just basically doing touch and pulling it back up. Just touching and pulling it back up. Alright, and then my last thing that I will be doing is just putting a few little leaves in down there. The very bottom of the plant. And I will be using the Thicket and the yellow Citron for this. Make sure my hand gets nice and dry. So I want it more of a rounded edge, a rounded type of leaf. You know, a lot of the leaves are pointier. Yeah, I did it a different direction here. Let me reverse it a little bit. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm basically double loading, kind of double loading the Filbert brush. Gonna turn it, bringing it up to that. Now if you feel like you need a, sometimes I feel like I need a, I don't know if it's my need to have odd numbers, but I'm just basically pulling that into the vine here. And I mean, you can do as much or as little, and I think really it's fine just like this. Want to make it more opaque, and you can go back over it and just kind of blend it in more if you want. I think they're pretty. My dyslexia kind of comes into play here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, just go back in one more time with my little brush here, and then just kind of clean this up a little bit. And I could do some, maybe I will do a little bit of branch ups. I don't want to do it with that. With my little liner brush, I think it does a lot nicer branch. I'm just putting a little bit of white with that so you can see it. And like I said, you don't have to, could have just left it alone. which is fine, or you can add more to it. And once you do this, you just need to stand back and kind of look at it and see where it goes and what it's telling you. If it's saying, hey, you need to add more to me, then do it. If it's saying, hey, leave me alone, then I would leave it alone. Anyways, there you go. I'm just going to kind of leave that as it is. Might even want to put in just a couple more. If I'm going to go ahead and do this, a couple more of these leaves right here, just to kind of fill it in. And that's doing a lot of combining both the white and that together, because I've got green on my paintbrush. There you go. I mean, you could add stuff to it, add, more leaves or whatnot, but I think for the purpose of this painting, I think that looks fine. So we'll leave it just like that. So let me know what you think. If you like this, again, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and make sure that you share if you feel like this is something that you like and that your friends might like. Make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And sorry about the creakiness, but because I have this taped down to my table, I am not really able to pull it up and do like what I was doing in the past, running the camera. But maybe I can do it like this. Alright, well, I hope you like it. Leave a comment down below if you like it. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to contact me. I'd be more than glad to answer your questions. And until the next video, I appreciate you stopping by, and have a good evening. Thank you.